Hello, hello, my people. Look where we are, at the biggest local market where you can find anything your soul craves. From a fatty duckling to the lamb that has been grazing fresh grass just yesterday. So, you name it. Today, my sole purpose is to find a giant goose that will feature in our dinner today. Let's start our hunt. Well, I think I have found what I have been looking for relentlessly. Look at this goose, a noble traveler of sky and water. Why must this bird be so beautiful? That does not help me at all, as I am about to cook it this evening. Well, my friend, let's get home. This goose has lived a good life, and now it's about to have an even better afterlife as dinner. While I take care of that, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and become a member of Kanan Badalov's team. You'll get the chance to enrich your culinary skills and even your cultural experience. I really enjoy it whenever my daughter joins me on shooting days. She absolutely loves helping out with little tasks, and the moment she does, she gets so bossy. It's pretty adorable. Honestly, this channel began as my own journey as a chef, but over time, it slowly turned into something more of a family affair. I love having her around, and I hope that as she grows older, she'll be able to participate in the cooking process herself. Watching her get more involved would be amazing. It's something I'm really looking forward to. Luckily, you missed the fun part where I've been giving this goose a little makeover, cleaning off all the feathers and prepping it for its grand debut. It's kind of like a spa day, but for dinner, all fresh and ready to go. Now, I'm torching the goose's skin to give it that perfect crispy finish. It might sound a bit intense, but it's all part of the plan. The torch helps render the fat and adds a nice texture, which will make every bite more flavorful and satisfying. Trust me, it's worth the extra touch. This bird has been gracing tables for centuries, and for good reason. Let's dive into this flock of facts and juicy details about the history, traditions, and deliciousness of this hearty main course. First off, geese aren't your average dinner guest. These birds have a distinct character, plump, flavorful, and just a little bit fancy. Historically, they were seen as symbols of wealth, with a presence at feasts dating back to ancient Rome, where they often were served in grand banquets. In fact, the Romans even believed that geese were such noble creatures that their honking actually saved the city of Rome from a surprise attack by the Gauls. After this heroism of the capital geese, the geese were commemorated in statues and stories that have survived to this day. Their legend became a symbol of vigilance and protection still celebrated in Roman culture. There is a huge difference between wild versus domesticated goose debate. Wild geese, like the ones that migrate south each year, tend to be leaner with a more gamey flavor. They're the kind of bird that has seen the world, flown in cold winds, and eaten all sorts of wild plants. On the other hand, domesticated geese have been raised for their meat for centuries, prized for their tender, juicy meat and rich fat. So, if you are looking for a goose with a little more luxury, go for the domesticated kind. Either way, you will have a bird that's well-traveled, or at least well-fed. All right, now I need to place the goose into this pot and cook it just until it's almost cooked through, but still a bit chewy. I'm doing this because the goose will get another round of cooking in the Afghan cauldron. The idea is to lock in some of those juices before the final cook, ensuring that we're left with a tender, flavorful base. The Afghan cauldron is a real gem of cooking tradition. Its thick walls are perfect for slow cooking and tenderizing meats like goose, a method that ensures you get that melt-in-your-mouth texture with every bite. It's been used by nomadic tribes for centuries and still carries that same incredible ability to create deep, rich flavors. Some bay leaves to infuse the broth with that earthy, fragrant aroma that'll give our dish a whole new dimension of flavor. As the leaves soften, they'll release those robust oils, adding a depth that'll really tie everything together. Look at this inquisitive face, studying the pot, anticipating what's to come. Don't worry, my girl. Very soon, this will be on your plate, every bite packed with delicate, rich flavors. As the steam rises, she's already sensing something delicious is about to happen. It's amazing how food can bring everyone together, right? The anticipation of something good, something familiar, but always with a little twist. That's enough for our goose. Now let's start layering it inside the Afghan cauldron. The Afghan cauldron, with its centuries-old design, was originally used by Central Asian tribes who needed a vessel that could withstand open flames and keep the heat steady for long periods of time. It's perfect for slow cooking, locking in all the moisture and flavors, and it's also an impressive sight with that round, sturdy shape. The intricate design of the Afghan cauldron helps distribute heat evenly, creating the ideal environment for cooking meat to perfection. The lid seals tightly, trapping in all the heat and steam, making it the perfect tool for a long, slow cook. The result is always something special: tender meat, flavorful broths, and a deep richness you just can't get any other way. Some carrots for color and a touch of sweetness. They'll break down slightly as they cook, enriching the broth with a subtle flavor that complements the goose. Now, let's add some onions.
And onion.
They'll caramelize as they cook, contributing that natural sweetness that balances out the savory notes in the goose. This is where the layers of flavor start to build. Now let's close the lid tightly and place it on the stove. Meanwhile, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and like the video. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Trust me, you'll want to be here when this dish is ready. While the goose is melting under the heat inside the cauldron, I'll start chopping our fruits. No, sadly, there's no dessert after this feast, but I promise this will be a completely different kind of culinary experience. After the goose reaches that perfect, fall-apart texture, the broth it has produced will turn into a heavenly soup enriched with apples, quince, raisins, dried apricots, and chestnuts. The fruit adds a beautiful contrast, sweetness from the apples and dried fruits, while the chestnuts bring an earthy, nutty flavor, rounding everything off with a subtle creaminess. Together, they're like a warm hug in a bowl, balanced, comforting, and surprisingly fresh. The apples and quince will give the soup a slight tang, while the chestnuts add that deep, earthy flavor that works so well with the savory goose. Let's check how the goose is doing inside this heat machine. It's almost like it's about to explode with the hot steam filling the air. Everything is infusing and coming together. The smell is already getting out of control. I can tell we're on the right track. Oh my, the smell is absolutely mouth-watering.
Smells so tasty, guys. So delicious.
Look at that. The meat is falling apart with just the slightest touch. That's exactly the texture we've been aiming for. It's perfectly tender, just as I anticipated. You can see the richness of the goose meat in each piece. It's been cooking in its own juices, and now it's ready to be shredded into the soup. All right, now I need to strain the broth to remove any bits of goose or coagulated blood that might have formed during cooking. We want the broth to be nice and clear, silky smooth. With all the flavors we've been building, this will ensure the soup has that clean, rich flavor we're aiming for. Now, let's toss in the carrots first, let them soften and release their flavor into the broth. Then we'll add the rest of the ingredients.
Bunlardan getireyim. Eyvah eyvah eyvah.
Ha?
Ne sardım?
Eyvah. Getirdim eyvah. Şimdi gelin. Baba ellerimi şişit ya.
Kızıştır.
Baba bir...
Düzleyin.
Someone's having the best time while I shred the meat. She's already looking forward to the moment when she gets to taste everything.
Koy. Perfect.
Imagine this: raisins, apricots, apples, quince, and carrots all cooking together in that rich broth, which has absorbed all the flavors of the goose. The dried fruits add sweetness while the chestnuts bring an earthy depth to the soup. Every bite will have that perfect balance of savory, sweet, and nutty,
Guys, and little bit rice.
each flavor enhancing the other. It's a culinary harmony that's like nothing else. The fruits give the broth a fruity brightness, while the chestnuts ground it with their creamy texture and earthy flavor.
And of course, guys, little bit saffron.
Now, let me show you a secret ingredient that will completely change the flavor and appearance of this soup: saffron. It's the spice of luxury, adding a vibrant golden hue and an aromatic depth that takes this dish to a whole new level. When you add saffron, you add a touch of magic to the entire dish. Finally, we're ready to reveal the magic bubbling away in the cauldron.
It's done, guys.
This is the culmination of hours of slow cooking, patience, and layering of flavors. We've got a soup that's rich, nourishing, and full of history.
Ой, чему я думаю? Где?
Now, the moment of truth. This soup is rich, fragrant, and everything I hoped it would be.
I don't believe it. It's very tasty.
It's the perfect balance of sweet and savory, with depth from the chestnuts and a delicate sweetness from the fruits. It's like a warm hug in a bowl. I'm so proud of how it turned out. The saffron gives it an exotic flair, and the goose meat has absorbed all those incredible flavors. It's a dish that's truly comforting, but with an exciting twist.
Sweety, salty, yummy, very tasty, guys.
Wait, smell.
I'm a bit nervous as my daughter gets ready to taste it. Her reaction means everything to me. I put so much love into this dish, and if she likes it, I'll know I've done my job right.
Goose now. Guys, thank you for watching. If you like, don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. Salam alaikum, Pahova.
Great. She really liked it. I'm Kanan Badalov, and you've been a part of this amazing culinary and authentic experience. Thank you all for staying with us and sharing this journey. Until next time, keep cooking, keep exploring, and stay tuned for more delicious adventures.
More.